Hi children, namaste to all of you. I hope that you are all well. Please stay at home, safe at home because we are all in one dangerous situation. And if we are in at home, and then we can avoid such a danger. And today we are going to learn about. Today we are going to learn about the Indo-Gangetic Plain. And here, if you observe, it extends from western part to eastern part, and this plain is composed of the sediments or the material which is bringing from the three rivers, namely the river Indus, the river Indus, and river Ganges and river Brahmaputra. And if we have a deep discussion about this Indo-Ganges river, Indo-Gangetic plain concern, So Indo, that is nothing but river Indus. Gang is nothing but river Ganges, and another important river that is also which we have to include this, the plains the formation of these plains, and nothing but another river also, that is river Brahmaputra. And this was happened before comes to these plains, and it was a shallow basin. The 20 million years ago, the plain which we are observing at present, that is a shallow basin, and for the years together it filled with alluvial soils, and which brought from the Himalayan rivers, which we are going to discuss about this Indus, Ganges and Brahmaputra. If you want to have a deep discussion about the rivers, especially for example Indus River, regarding the location of Indus River concern, it originates near Himalayas. That is the birthplace of Indus concerned. There is Lake Manasarovar, which is in Tibet, and this Lake Manasarovar, you can see where it is located in Mount Kailash, and it has a title, the river Indus. It will be called as a father of rivers. And what about the drainage? And it enters into a Ladakh of Jammu Kashmir, and with the help of these tributaries, there are 5 tributaries are there for Indus River that we will discuss after some time regarding the rivers. And the length of this Indus River concern 2,900 kilometers. Once have a look, my dear. This is the river Indus image, the drainage. Nothing but drainage is nothing. Don't think that according to our meaning that drainage is nothing but the river which flows particular area. Such we call it as the drainage of that particular river. See, it originates in Himalayas, which is in Tibet Plateau, Manas Sarovar, and enters Jammu Kashmir, Ladakh, and as well as Himachal Pradesh, and at present the Punjab and a small portion of Punjab and Haryana, and major portion of this Indus River we can see in Pakistan, and again it merges into Arabian Sea. So this is Arabian Sea, and here we got this Rann of Kutch. Now at present, which is in the state of Sindh. And if we move on, the Ganges, the river Ganges, which originates is Gaumukh to nearby Gangotri Glacier, originates Gangotri Glacier, and see here, and even that is also in the Himalayas only. And we have got a famous saying regarding our Hindu mythology. There are two streams, that's Alakananda and Bhagirath. There are two streams, and with that, this is Ganga, the river Ganges, it originated. Regarding its length constant, that is, we have got 2601 kilometers, and it flows through the states of Uttarakhand. May I know, my dear, what is the capital of Uttarakhand? Dehradun. What is the capital? Dehradun. And next it flows to Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand and West Bengal, and afterwards it enters. That is the area of this river Ganges. And regarding this Ganges concern, it is the longest river in India. It's the longest river. And the tributaries concern we got here. So I am not going to reveal all tributaries of Ganges. Some important tributaries, that is Ram Ganga, Gomat, Gandak, Kosi, Yamuna, and so. So these are the some important tributaries of river Ganges. And if you move on, the third, the river in Himalayas, which is originated in Himalayas only, whereas this area of Himalayas, and this is Manas Sarovar, Lake Manas Sarovar, and which is near Mount Kailash. And almost, if you observe, see here, almost this is Nepal, China, and here it enters into India, that is Arunachal Pradesh. When it comes to Arunachal Pradesh, and it has been called as river Dihang, and next Assam, and there we call it as Dilavo. And regarding the length of this Brahmaputra river concern, that is 3080.25 kilometers. And there is another name in Tibet. It has been called as Sangpo. And now let us have a important discussion about the Indo-Gangetic Plain. So Indo-Gangetic Plain, you must have get an idea that so it extends from the western part of India to eastern part. And this Indo-Gangetic Plain They divided into three parts. First one is the western part, and where the Indus River drainage prevails or flows, and central part, such we call it as Ganga plain or river Ganges plain, and eastern part, that is Brahmaputra. So how many divisions are there regarding this Indo-Gangetic plain? There are three. Let us have a look here once again. There are three: the western part and the central part and eastern part. How many are there? Western part, central part, eastern part. So let us see the western part. So this is western part actually. This is western part, and see, once again we will have a small, see the division here. So this part is the western part to here. This is central part and this is eastern part. So western part, it consists of, we have already discussed that the drainage system which was prepared the river Indus, and such we call it as not only Indus and its tributaries also. So what are the major tributaries of Indus river? Jhelum, Chenab, and Ravi, Beos, and Sutlej. So these are the important tributaries, and the area which is occupied by this river, and because of why do we discuss about this river's concern? What happened? They are flowing down some sediments or rocks and made the land as a fertile or porous, which is very reliable for agriculture. So that's why we call it as this. And the plain which is made up of with these rivers, which they bring these sediments because of the flowing of water. Once again, the Indo-Gangetic plains are nothing but prepared. The Indo-Gangetic plains which are made because of the sediments or rocks which are bringing by these rivers along with their water, along with the flowing of water. So that's why, and there was a big plain has come into existence, and such we are discussing today, such a plain, and that plain as divided into three parts. One is western, and second one is central, and third one is eastern. And the western part, the water which brought from Indus river and the sediments which brought from the Indus river water, and such areas made fertile, or nothing but they prepared that area or that land as alluvium nature. Nothing but it becomes a fertile, which is more useful and more reliable for agriculture. So regarding this western part concern, major part of this Indus river, that is in Pakistan, and minor in Punjab, minor in Punjab and Haryana. Have you remember one project, the longest projects which was constructed constructed in Himachal Pradesh? May I know, my dear? Could you please tell me? That is Bakranangal project. On which river it was constructed? That is river Sutlej. Sutlej is nothing but a tributary of river Indus. Have you understood, all of you? So that Sutlej river is nothing but the tributary of Indus, and through that Sutlej there are so many hectares of land being cultivating for agriculture purpose. Okay, so how much area being cultivated through this Indus river concern? That is only 709 kilometers in India. 709 kilometers in India, whereas the actual flow, that is 2880 kilometers. Okay, and let us discuss how did we get the name Indus. We know very well, you know very well that when our India was ruled by the Europeans, they used to call as the river Sindh, actual, that is Sindh, and they pronounce as a Sindh, not strength, as Ind. And when the time passes, it has become Indoi, and after some time, and this becomes as river Indus. So that is the western part. And if we move on, the central part of this Indo-Gangetic Plain concern, it extends from river Gaga to the Teesta river. So this Gaga, which is nearby Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, and whereas Teesta Kansa, that is nearby West Bengal. Okay, we have already discussed that this central part is nothing but it's an area of river Ganges plain. We call it as Ganga plain. Okay, so this is a Gaggar, that is northwest of Himachal Pradesh, whereas Teesta, that is the Sikkim and as well as West Bengal. So regarding this river Ganges concern, it is the longest river in India. So the eastern part of this Indo-Gangetic Plain, which composed of this river Brahmaputra especially, and we already discussed that it originates in Manas Sarovar of Himalayas, and in India it enters in Arunachal Pradesh, which we call it as Dibang river, and whereas is Assam, we call it as Dilao. So let us have a small explanation report of this. And these rivers, they flowing down the deposits gravel and pebble sediments, and they brought these the rocks, small rocks, which we call it as a pebbles and gravel concern. In Telugu we call them as a small stones, small and a minute, tiny stones. And how much area it is occupied? And here see, if you observe that the width of these Indo-Gangetic plains consider that is 8 to 16 kilometers of width. And here So my dear, once have a look here. So this is Himalayas. And what is the southern part of southern range? The southern range of Himalayas, have you remember? That is Shivaliks. Shivaliks. So these Indo-Gangetic plains is parallel to foothills of Shivaliks. And the location I am trying to give you information, that is the parallel to foothills of Himalayas. And these, the rocks or the sediments which brought to these foothills of Himalayas, and there these plains are composed of two important features of these plains. Not only two, there are four are there. Among that is, one is Baba, and second one is Teroy, and third one is Banga, and fourth one is Khada. One is Baba, and one is Baba, and second one is Teroy, and third Bangar, and fourth one is Khada. So let us have a look this Baba. And here, once have a look here, my dear. So this is Indo-Gangetic plain, the western part, central part, and eastern part, and the land which prevails at the foothills of Shivaliks. And because of these, the sediments which brought by these rivers, it becomes so fertile, and these plains are so alluvial. We call them as alluvial soils. The soil where the land is so fertile and which is suitable for especially as a monsoon crop, such soils we call it as alluvial soils. And this area we call it as Baba, the plain which existed, especially if you observe this is Baba, we can see this Babar area at Uttarakhand. And what is the nature of this plain or land? It is porous in nature. Then what is porous? The porous is nothing but a rock or a land which allows air or water with their interstices, or nothing but with their small kinds of holes. And because of that thing, what happened? The land which is there, it becomes very fertile. The land which possesses the water, it becomes fertile. And another important feature, if you observe here, some streams and rivers flow under these plains and exist, and it comes out of these plains. And because of that, another important type of the plain comes or becomes such, we call it as a Teroy. And these areas are known as for, so what is Teroy? These areas are known for swampy and marshy tracts. It always wet in nature. We call it as a Chittadi Nelalu, where there is wet always. And because of that, what happened? Where there is water, where the land is always marshy, and there we can see there are some thick forests that is available, thick forests, and as well as a variety of wildlife or wild animals. So Teroy, once it composed or it consists of the thick forests and as well as variety wildlife, and but after partition of India, what happened? These lands were converted as agricultural lands for immigrants who comes from who comes from Pakistan. Okay, so now we cannot see such portion of the forest there, but it becomes as the agriculture land. So these two important and basic features of these Indo-Gangetic plains, and most of these plains are consist of alluvial soils. Okay, the south of these areas, we can see alluvial soils where the land is very fertile. And for your understanding, and there are two important kinds of soils also there, or plains are there in Indo-Gangetic plain. One is Bangar, that is slightly elevated, and this is a land of older alluvium we used to call. And another, that is Khadar, that is a more fertile and fresh alluvium or new alluvium. And these are prevailed in low-lying flat plains. And another important concept you have to remember regarding this, in this Indo-Gangetic plain concern, one is the Doab, that is D-O-A-B, Doab, and the land which prevails between two rivers. And now you can ask me, and where are those? So the land which lies between river Indus and Ganges, the land which lies between river Ganges and river Brahmaputra. So such land we call it as Doab. So this is very important. Try to learn them carefully, and by that you can understand the Indo-Gangetic plain properly.